the 4th attempt that we've had for a static fire, and we finally went full duration on all engines, so feels really good. I'm super relieved. Again, it was like pretty dynamic, and having done this 4 times now, it's like, man, what else can go wrong here? Because we just haven't seen the vibration and the temperatures that we're about to be subjected to.
We've never connected the QD to a vehicle, and we've never flowed propellant into a Starship on pad 2. So although this was a really big milestone, the next step is to prove that those systems work in the way that we designed them to.
We designed this pad to be able to support a launch every 60 minutes indefinitely. The thing about pad 1 is it was designed to be very quick to build, it was designed to be very cheap, and it was designed to give good access to the aft end of the booster. The reason all of those things were a design goal is because we sucked at building Starship pads and we sucked at building Starships. It's like we didn't know what we were doing because it was impossible to know what you were doing because no one had ever done something like this before. The brief on that one was, hey, get something up very quick and very scrappy and very inexpensively, but that's okay. It actually needs to just be good enough for us to learn. And then if we can learn from it, we'll go build the actual good thing. I mean, the integration mechanism is the pad. The catch mechanism is the pad. All of this stuff is like integral to how the pad operates. And so the reason we call it stage 0 is literally it is the first stage of the launch process. And if it is not working, we cannot go launch. And so that certainly like raises the stakes and raises the priority and like drama whenever things go wrong on the pad. Post-static fire, as we were transiting the chopstick arms back to a lower position, we heard a loud noise out at the pad.
It's vibrating the entire tower.
Something got jammed up in the chain and maybe it caused it to snap. We don't really know if it's broken completely or if it's just cockeyed or buckled in some way. God, it sounds terrible. So we are in a mad dash to get that roller diagnosed and replaced as soon as possible.
The chop carriage has many rollers positioned at different parts around the tower. And when I say roller, it's literally like imagine the world's largest bicycle chain. It's built almost exactly like a bike chain, except for it's 380 pounds. And the chop carriage weighs a lot. And so it basically broke one of those links. The chain got bound up. And the day after static fire, we called our buddies at the Cape. We had some spare units over there for building the Cape towers. We're able to hot shot to overnight the chain to us, got the old chain torn apart, got the new one put together, flew it up, and the morning after that, we were ready to rock.
Hey, with these ones, make sure we're going up. Para arriba.
It was on the order of like 30 hours, 36 hours from we found the problem to had it fully back in service. On like an item that was not really designed to be very serviceable. To be able to come up with a scrappy plan, you know, temp support it with cranes, get in there and boogie is like, that's like just classic SpaceX nonsense.
Tower courier, you go?
We're still go for tomorrow, but it's like a very, very tight schedule.
We're basically in a race with the ship right now.
Switching in 3, 2, 1.
All right.
When you get off.
All right, chopsticks are moving. Come on, baby.
That's crazy. What a day.
The purpose of this mission is to collect some really high profile imagery of the starship, specifically its heat shield after re-entry. This is the most in-depth operation that we've ever conducted. We'll be having the most buoys with the most equipment and way more drones than we have ever had to have offshore. This buoy right here has been used since Flight 5. We deployed these buoys kind of like as a Hail Mary attempt. They were very scrappily, but, you know, as well as they could be put together. It was almost miraculous, even in the middle of the night, to see all of these buoys pointed directly at Starship as it was landing. And gradually, from Flight 5, 6, 7, and onwards, these have always been deployed. While it does get punctures, we can patch them as needed and kind of give them the Band-Aids that they need in order to keep kicking.
We just departed the port here at Exmouth. I think we've got about a 2.5 day transit, 500 nautical miles, up to a 21-day voyage out to the Indian Ocean.
We will be getting a full, almost 3D model of the vehicle at different points of re-entry and landing that will allow us to not only assess the performance of the vehicle for Flight 12, but build a new and better Starship.
It's weird the things you find yourself getting good at in your quests to go to Mars or the moon or fly a bunch of satellites. And something we are really good at as a company is just moving big things.
There you go, looking good just like that. Yeah, you hug this left side, you'll be good on your right side off of the building.
So we have a whole team of people, the CLT, the critical lift team.
Good to roll forward.
And their job is just to move, to maintain, to operate equipment and infrastructure to move heavy things all around.
B-19 is now entering Highway 4. All of the great people of Starbase watching B-19 roll out to the pad.
We wanted to make sure we made it down here for the first version 3.
I was here for Flight 9 and 11. I got to see the catch. You don't get to say that every day.
Honestly, just seeing V-30 take flight, it's been a long wait, and also the flame stretch is going to look pretty awesome.
Looking good on your left side. Keep on rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Just out here to watch the B-19 roll out with my family visiting Starbase. It's just cool to see everyone working at Space X together to push forward humanity's future.
You got a beautiful line like that. We'll keep walking in just like that for a little bit. All clear to front.
And so they move our rockets. They're like, I mean, absolute pros at just give them a random ginormous shape and say, this needs to get from here to there, and they'll go do it.
Gotta keep it nice and slow.
So right now we're in Star Factory and we're doing the final preparations to load the imaging satellites into our satellite speed loader. This is the last step that's going to happen before we send the satellites over to Mega Bay 2, where they're going to be loaded into ship and prepared for flight. So these 2 satellites will be just 2 of 22 total deployed objects. The other 20 are what we call satellite simulators. They don't have computers on board or anything like that. They're really just hunks of steel that mimic the shape and weight of satellites approximately. It helps us test the PES deploy system. We're also going to be inspecting the more sensitive components of the satellite, the laser optics that send data to other satellites, the thruster on board for on-orbit maneuvering. All of those systems are more sensitive to things like FOD or dust, so we want to give them one last inspection before they go in to make sure they're ready to go to space.
Hey Bennett, just confirm for us that you are ready for us to lift the next satellite.
We've finished the profile, everything looks good. I'm gonna disable now, so that'll be good to remove rigging.
Copy, standing by. All 22 of those objects are going to mass up to about 37.5 metric tons. That is heavier than any payload Falcon has ever launched. I believe this is the heaviest payload SpaceX will have launched ever, so we want to learn as much as possible about the PES system and how the satellites interact with it. We're on that suborbital trajectory, but it shows the capability that Starship has for future orbital missions coming up.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, why the tower team has these big crises always, like, right before we have, like, a big operation. I think it has to just do with the scale of everything. Like, we have these big, complicated mechanisms that, like, need to work right every time we use them. And just replacing a roller turned into this several-day ordeal with flying shit in from the Cape, 3 cranes to get it in and out. Where, like, if this was a broken bearing on some little dinky electrical motor, it would have been much easier to make that swap in an hour instead of 24.
I feel like it also set us up for success in terms of like the getting mentally ready to act on immediate. So super exciting time tomorrow. Hopefully we see the fruits of our labor sort of culminate in a great successful flight.
Trains on your side, probably.
No, it looks good. Let's get into safing so we can extend the platforms, please.
After this, we'll transition to preload for on-latch, take the HP to intermediate ops, figure for flight, and then we'll do a quick go-no-go poll. I'll give you a countdown and we're releasing.
Holding at T-minus 40 seconds.
This looks like a blip on blind pressure when we unpinned. Pressures and preloads are healthy.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. This is all fogged up from cryo, but it's essentially right there. Guys, I recommend we release hold and give it one more chance to unlatch with where we're at.
Ship XYs are not going to close down damped, but I believe that's okay.
Okay, we have just enough time on the vehicle to attempt one more time, so I recommend we clear the hold, let it try to unlatch it at the 100 bar we're at.
We're still stuck in dampening though.
Understood, we'd be reattempting with the same hydraulic pressure. Cool, this will be our last attempt and then we're done on the rockets.
Unexpected drop in Z-cylinder blind pressure when we unpinned.
That was different from the first few tries?
That's correct, different problem.
Copy.
Yeah, this might be due to QD arm dynamics when we unpin, so I don't think trying again is going to solve the problem, to be honest.
We're done for flight for the day. Flight. Thank you.
mechanical systems really come alive in that last 40 seconds. As a part of that sequence, one of the things that we do is we unpin that arm so that the QD can swing away and not blow itself up as the rocket flies away. And that part of the arm is pushing hard against the tower while we unlatch to make sure that even if there's excess pressure or anything like that, that the QD stays really tight up against the ship. And the first time that we had unpinned that arm in flight-like conditions was that attempt. So as we retracted that pin, the arm wanted to shove closer into the tower. It caused the end effector to kind of jiggle back and forth very slightly. That jiggle set off some really tight, sensitive bounds that we had on the hydraulic system out there. And you need it to work, or else the rocket doesn't fly. So.
Always be paranoid. Going into this flight attempt, we were worried about a completely different thing, which was the hold for the actual vents on the fill drain. And then those passed, and then we got bit by something completely different. So you gotta be paranoid about everything.
Last night, overnight, we did a sweep of our 30 nautical mile hazardous no-go zone to make sure there's no vessels. Range is currently clear. Everything's looking good. It's a little rough out. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Doing final preps on all the buoys, getting all cameras online. This is when it all happens, at 1 o'clock in the morning.
This is the most important mission we've done out here. We're putting in the most buoys and the most drones. So if we don't have this data, the people back home have no idea how the heat shield really performed.
Sren, do you want to give it a final kiss goodbye for good luck?
That was a wet kiss. Perfect. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
All right.
Bye-bye, buoy. Let's see.
Good afternoon, welcome to the Starship Flight 12 Attempt 2 weather briefing. Starship range is currently green.
Tower Kenny, are you up on countdown 1? Can you give a brief on what we did last night for the QD arm situation?
So the cause of yesterday's abort was that the ship QD arm had dynamics when we tried to unpin it due to the preload that the ship QD mech was pushing into the vehicle with. The mitigations that we have in place today are that we've welded a hard stop bumper to the ship QD arm to limit the amount of displacement that can occur when the unpinner unpins.
Attention all flight crew members, on countdown 1 is the final go-no-go poll for today's operations. RC?
Go.
Ground stations?
Go.
Flight software 1?
Go.
Raptor 1?
Go.
Raptor 2?
Go.
Stage 1?
Go.
Flight directors go as well. T-minus 1 minute. Holding at T-minus 40 seconds.
SpaceXers really are at their best in ASAP mode. We do a good job of not being afraid of putting ourselves in a really tight spot.
Fill drains are go.
Copy. SC1, reset the operator hold.
Reset. Clock is rolling.
People hate pain, and that ability to absorb pain for change here at Starbase is like unparalleled. And if you just are willing to take a little bit of it, you can do the most amazing things.
Flight directors go for launch. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Okay, here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. liftoff.
Pitching downrange.
Max Q. Change separation.
Acknowledging many booster alerts.
5 engines on base X, start up.
Flight software acknowledging mission abort, earlier boost back shutdown. Expected.
Yes, sir. Can confirm. Exec team is aware that a booster did not make it to the final landing location.
Ship avionics, power and telemetry nominal.
We have healthy chamber pressures on 5 out of 6 ship Raptor engines.
We're deploying sets.
That was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Wow. Yeah, video of a satellite looking at our ship. This one was good.
Starship is turning for final approach to landing site. Starship has landed.
This is the hottest things humans have ever done, honestly.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
This might be our crowning achievement. After this, the robots will have to take over. Exactly. Anytime we have these kind of big evolutionary leaps in the program, whether it was the very first Flight 1, whether it was first catch on Flight 5, obviously new major block change with the pad and the ship and the booster all at the same time for V3, there's somewhat of an expectation of like, what might we have missed? But at some point, you just got to say, hey, the most learnings are to go fly.